The 30-day no contact rule essentially means that you don't contact your ex-girlfriend or ex-wife for 30 days after the breakup. If she contacts you during that time, ignore her, don't reply, and just keep the communication cut off. Obviously, that isn't a good approach to use in most situations and will result in the woman moving on or seeking revenge by hooking up with a new guy and trying to make her ex feel bad. What you need to remember is that two can play at mind games. It's not just a guy that can do things. Sometimes a guy will assume that no contact will mess with her head and she won't be able to do anything about it. Yet, as you may know, it's very easy for women to hook up with new men. If she happens to meet a man that she finds more interesting and attractive, she won't worry about the fact that her ex isn't contacting her. She will just move on. Now, the opposite of no contact is non-stop contact, and that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm not suggesting that instead of using the 30-day no contact rule, you should contact your ex all the time, bombard her, beg and plead, and desperately chase her to get another chance with her. That's not what I'm recommending at all. Instead, I'm going to give you 3 effective alternatives to the no contact rule. The first alternative of giving your ex 3 to 7 days of space applies to most ex-back situations. In most ex-back situations where a guy's trying to get a woman back, it's a case where he has turned her off leading up to the breakup and he didn't handle the breakup very well. For example, he may have become insecure or emotionally sensitive in the relationship or had taken her for granted. Then, when she attempted to break up with him, he reacted by becoming emotional and didn't handle it very well. In cases like that, which is the majority of cases, a guy simply needs to give his woman a few days to a week of space and then start the ex-back process. Make sure that you don't contact her during that time unless she contacts you. What you need to focus on while giving her a few days to a week of space after the breakup is to prepare to re-attract her. You have to make sure that you are ready to interact with her and make her feel sparks of sexual and romantic attraction for you. For example, if you lost a lot of confidence as a result of being dumped, you need to make sure that you get your confidence back before you interact with her. If you interact with her and she can sense that you don't feel worthy of her anymore, it's going to turn her off. Women are not attracted to emotional weaknesses such as self-doubt and insecurity in men. Women are attracted to emotional strengths such as confidence, high self-esteem, and self-assuredness. So once you've given her a few days to a week of space, get in contact with her, re-attract her, and get her back into a relationship with you. With limited contact, this is where you should be open to texts and phone calls from her right away after the breakup. You should also initiate some texts and phone calls yourself at times. This is best used when the breakup wasn't really a bad one. For example, the woman wasn't entirely sure whether she should break up with the guy. She's still interested, she still has feelings for him, and when she broke up with him, he handled it quite well. She's most likely going to be regretting her decision after the breakup. She's going to be missing her ex pretty much right away. In that case, you don't need to play mind games with her and make her feel even worse and potentially lose her in the process by ignoring her for 30 or 60 days. What you need to do is be open to communicating with her so you can actively make her feel sexually and romantically attracted to you. You can get her feeling like she's in love with you again. You can make her want to forget about the breakup and just get back into a relationship with you. Being open to communicating with your ex is important after a breakup in cases like this. One of the reasons why is that if a woman contacts her ex-man and he doesn't reply, she may then fear that he's gotten over her already. She doesn't want to keep contacting him and potentially get rejected by him where he sends her a message saying to leave him alone and that he's over her and never wants to speak to her again. I've heard of so many cases where a man was contacted by his woman after the breakup and he ignored her. He thought that he would be giving away his power if he replied or if he caught up with her right away. When he tried to reach out to her after a couple of weeks or a month or two, she didn't reply, or she told him that she had already moved on. By the way, limited contact also applies to relationships where a couple has children together or they have mutual interests. For example, they have property together, they have something that they need to settle and get organized, or they need to complete a project of some kind. In cases like that, obviously a guy wouldn't need to go no contact and completely ignore his woman. He needs to be open to communicating with her. However, what he needs to make sure of is that his communication isn't businesslike and neutral like a friend. He needs to make sure that the communication sparks her feelings of sexual and romantic attraction for him. In other words, he needs to be flirting with her, being confident, joking around, and so on. He can also be serious at times, but he needs to make sure that he is creating sparks. He's making her feel attracted. He's making the love flow into her heart again. He's making her miss him. Finally, with the third option, immediate recovery. This is where a man understands his mistake and immediately changes, improves, or adjusts. He then interacts with her, reattracts her, hooks up with her sexually, and gets her back into a relationship. What you need to realize is that many breakups do get back together quite quickly. Not all women need 30 days or 2 weeks or anything like that to be able to interact with their ex again. Sometimes a woman just needs 24 hours. She needs a couple of days. She needs a few days. She needs a week. Okay, so those were 3 alternatives to the no contact rule. I recommend that you choose the one that fits your situation and go with that. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you need more help, I recommend that you watch my program, Get Your Ex Back Super System. When you watch the program, you will learn exactly how to reattract her and get her back into a relationship with you now rather than later. If you think that your ex is going to move on when you don't contact her, I recommend that you take control of the situation by reattracting her. One final point that I want to make for you in this video is that you shouldn't do the opposite of no contact, which is non-stop contact, right? No contact can push a woman away because she can be afraid that her ex is going to reject her, or she can seek revenge by hooking up with a new guy and moving on. Non-stop contact also pushes a woman away. She sees it as needy, desperate, and it's a big turn-off. It's too stressful, it's not attractive, and it doesn't make a woman feel compelled to get back with her ex. What I recommend is that you use a calm, confident approach as you get your ex-woman back. Be in control of your emotions. Focus on attraction. Trigger her feelings of sexual and romantic attraction. When you do that, she will look at you with different eyes. She will have a completely different perspective of you. She'll be looking at your positive qualities. She'll be focusing on the good feelings that she is feeling. She might be a little bit unsure whether she should get back into a relationship with you, but that's where your confidence comes in. You need to be confident and guide her back into a relationship. You need to be the more emotionally courageous one, the more emotionally strong one. Some women are easier to get back than others, but what it really comes down to is your confidence in the moments that you're interacting with her. That's what makes the difference. If you are confident about your ability to attract her and you don't let her mixed signals make you lose confidence, then you're going to be attracting her by default. Women are naturally attracted to confidence in men and turned off by insecurity and self-doubt. So you've got to be confident. You've got to focus on making her feel attracted to you and get her back into a relationship. That's how it's done. Of course, you can leave it to chance if you want. You can just stop contacting her for 30 or 60 days and hope that she doesn't move on. But what I recommend is that you be a man about it. You take control of the situation. Make her feel attracted to you again, be confident, and guide her back into a relationship.